Welcome to Session Sunday. Hi guys, it's Jack Edwards and today's session is going to be focused around counter pressing. But before we get into this week's video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe, and if you missed last week's video, click on the link above. Okay, so moving into part one of this week's session, we're going to be focusing on a 1v1 and 2v2 attacking and defending drill. So we're looking at transitions, both with and without the ball. But before we get into the session, let's have a look at how many players we've got and the setup and the equipment that we need. So we've got 12 players for the session this week. We can adapt certain things with goalkeepers as well, if you do have goalkeepers that you need to use throughout the session. In terms of equipment this week, we're looking at balls, bibs, cones, and then if you have them, poles. If you don't have poles, you can just use cones. But if you do have the poles, that'd be great to use for the goals. But again, if you do have goalkeepers and you have goals to use, then you can just change them over. So the setup for the first part of the session is going to be a 20 by 20 box, okay, with then 2 goals either side, a couple of width wide, talking about 2 or 3 yards each, because we only want the players to dribble through them. So you're going to split your players into 2 groups, okay, 6 on one side and 6 on the other, both split in 2 threes. So how the play is going to start is the coach is going to have the ball, they will play into one of the players. The player on the opposite side, okay, diagonally across, will then go and defend. Okay, so this player is going to try and drive up, okay, try and take the player on and dribble through. As soon as they've dribbled through, okay, this player then, who's just been the defender, will go to the back of their queue, okay, just to start the play. The player who's been attacking, okay, the coach will then play in to the other side, okay, of the Blues here. So that means they've got to instant react, okay, as if they've lost the ball, okay, and they're trying to get back in and defend, okay, so they're trying to shut down the space, okay, cover that ground quickly, focus on those angles, okay, those distances, okay, from the ball, not getting too close, okay, make sure we're not showing the goal, showing away from the goal, and then looking to intercept the ball. And then again, if the yellow wins the ball or the blue manages to dribble in, this yellow will go back to the back of their queue, and then the coach will play into the opposite yellow side, okay, and then that blue attacker will then become a defender and will try and stop the yellows from scoring in the goal. And then when we advance into a 2v2, it will literally just be the coach will play into either the blues or the yellows, okay, and one player from each side will come in, okay, so if the blues are attacking and they end up losing the ball, okay, if the ball is in the central area, okay, we can then try and see the yellow score, but all we want is them to win the ball back and get the ball away, okay, so they can play it out either side, or they can even try and pass it through the goal, because we then want them to defend. So what we're looking for there with the Blues is if the Blues have the ball, and they get through here, instantly that ball's going to go into the yellows, okay, so the other ones will go back and as they've been the defenders there, and then it's instantly, can we get some shape, okay, so the player on the far side here is going to be marking the player on the far side. What's our body position, okay, where are we trying to show the ball to go to, okay, so if this player then gets the ball, then we don't want this player going closing down, okay, because we're leaving this man in space, okay, which gives them a pass through, but we also don't want to leave our player in a 1v1 scenario, because we're looking to counter press, okay, after losing the ball, we want to try and win it back, okay, so we want to be aggressive, okay, so we're getting up there nice and quick, okay, we cover round, stopping this player getting the ball easily, okay, but also supporting our teammates so that we can try and win the ball back, okay, and again, obviously, if we can get it out wide as quick as we can, perfect, or try and play through. We will now move into our first animation before moving on to part 2 of this week's session. Now moving into part 2 of this week's session, we're now focusing on a 6v3 rondo, okay, but we're looking at a counter press, okay, so as soon as the ball's getting switched over, we're looking to press the other side, okay, there's going to be plenty of transitions, so the players are going to get different goes of obviously being in possession and out of possession, okay, so in terms of the setup, we've got 15 yards width and 30 yards of depth, okay, but it's split into 2 zones, so it's 15 and 15 each side. So we're going to have our two teams, so our blues and our yellows, okay? So the blues are going to have 3 players in one 15 by 15 zone and another 3 blues in another 15 by 15 zone. So the defenders, you're going to have 3 in the middle and 3 on the outside waiting to go. Okay, so once the defenders in the middle here have won the ball back on this side and on this side, so once they've won the ball back twice, we will swap over and the others will go, okay? And then once they've won it back twice, okay, then the teams will swap over. Or you can keep them going for longer if you want to, depending on what age group you're working with. So the coach will play into one side, okay? And the aim for these players is just react as if you've lost the ball, okay? So we're going to hunt as a team, okay, to win the ball back, okay, and stop that ball going through to the opposite side. Okay, so if the ball comes in here, we want pressure from the left side of the player here, pressure from the middle to stop the players getting the ball, and then pressure as well from our right side of the player, okay, to stop it going through here. But we also need to think of, can we stop these players getting the ball here? You could maybe bring in different variations where every player on one side has to touch the ball before they play through, so it gives the defenders a chance to win the ball. Or you can just do it, it's literally got to be a certain amount of passes, it could be 3 passes or 5 passes. That's the type of things that you could use, and then progress to it being, as soon as the ball's played in, they can instantly try and play through to the other side. So it doesn't have to be that they win it back from this side and this side, it can just be that they win it back twice, okay? So as soon as they've won the ball, coach plays another one back in. So they could win it this side, okay, and the coach will instantly have a ball and play over to the opposite side, okay? So what we're looking for is putting pressure on the ball, okay, and looking at our angles and distances, okay, based on where these players are in behind as well. So scanning our shoulders, being aware of what's around us, okay, to stop balls going through, showing the attackers where we want them to go, so then we can get bodies around the ball. So when it comes back into here, okay, can we get players around, so we're putting them into tight areas where they can't go anywhere, and then eventually we win the ball back. And if we won the ball here, as if we're going to go forward and in towards goal. So once they've won it back twice, okay, the new defenders will come in, do the same, and then again we try to swap the teams over and get the yellows as the team in possession, because you want to work with both groups. We will now move into our second animation before moving on to this week's 4-corner model. Okay, so taking a look at this week's 4-corner model, starting off with technical and tactical, we're looking at covering the ground quickly, okay? So as soon as we lose that ball, getting across to the person who's got the ball. So, okay, so we want the nearest man getting there, okay, and applying the pressure, okay? And then our other players getting across, okay, to restrict the space of the attackers, okay, and prevent gaps to play through. Looking at our low body position, okay, so when we're approaching an attacker, okay, we don't want to be standing up straight, we want to be low towards the ball, bending our knees, and then we're looking at our body shape, okay? So we're looking to prevent passes, okay, so it might be, we're trying to play, we're looking at, we might have 2 players on the right-hand side, that's where our support is, okay? So then we're going to stop passes going to the left, okay? We're going to force that player onto their left foot, okay? So then that might be their weaker side, okay? So then we've got more chance to win the ball, and then when they play to another player, we've got more players to then support and go and press as a unit. Looking at our angles and distances as well. So again, going with covering the ground quickly, we've got to make sure that we slow down as we approach the ball, not getting too close, okay, to the attacker, and then our distance away from it. So like I was saying, with our angles, with our body position, okay, making sure that we're not too squared on, we're not too side on as well, okay, so we've always got one foot in front of the other, just on an angle, okay, just turning ourselves so that we can adjust. If a player goes to turn the opposite way, okay, we can shift our body across, whereas if we're fully on our side and a player goes to turn, it's harder for us to adjust and go the other way. And again, if we're side on, we're giving the players the option to go left and right. And then finally, securing the ball. So when we're counter pressing, the aim is to win the ball. When we win the ball, we're looking to secure it and then play, okay? So we might be winning the ball in our defensive third, so we want to secure the ball before going forward, okay? If we're in the attacking third, it's looking to secure the ball, to play to one of our nearest players, to then go and penetrate the opposition in the final third. Now moving on to our psychological corner, so we're focusing on our anticipation. Okay, so anticipating where the ball's going to go. Okay, so having yourself ready to know where, if that player is going to receive the ball on the right-hand side of you, okay, anticipating where it's going to go. So as soon as that player gets their head down to play the pass, can you think of where it's going to go? And then showing that urgency to win the ball back. As soon as the ball gets lost, or as soon as the coach plays in, showing that urgency as a team to get after the ball, to win it back, to get your reward, to be high up the pitch, okay, in a game situation, all right, and also winning the ball back to secure possession. Looking at our decision making, okay, so again, with our angles and distances, okay, our covering the ground quickly, our body position, okay, our decision making of where we're going to show that player, okay, we don't want to give them too much space, we don't want to be too close, okay, we don't want to overcommit too early, we've got to wait for that support, so making sure, again, we're aware of what's around us. And then finally, aggressive, okay, so being aggressive to win the ball back. You've got to apply pressure to the opposition, okay, we can't do it just really nice, and we can't go about it really nice, okay, and just be half-hearted. We've got to get right in the face, make it difficult for them, okay, be physical, okay, and that's the way to win the ball back, okay, so having that confidence as well to win it, being aggressive in the tackle, and then you're getting reward by winning the ball back. And then moving on to our physical corner, so our speed, okay, our speed to cover the ground quickly, okay, our speed as a team to get after the ball as soon as we lose it, okay, to get after the opposition, make it uncomfortable for them to win the ball back. Looking at our ABCs, so our agility, our balance, our coordination, okay, ensuring that we can turn quickly, okay, in tight areas as well, getting across from left to right, shuffling sideways, backwards, okay, so making sure that we know what's around us, okay, we know where we can go, giving ourselves a good chance of turning with our body position, okay, and then obviously combining that with our speed as well to be able to turn quickly. And then finally, power and strength, okay, so being strong in the tackle to win the ball back, making use of our arms, okay, so we're not talking about elbows, we're talking about shoulders, okay, we're getting that arm out there. So again, with our angles and distances, try and be an arm's length away, okay, so you can practice things with poles, with players about running in, touching the pole and getting back, okay, we don't want to get too close, okay, because it's easy for an attacker to spin off, okay, we want to slow ourselves down as we approach the player and make sure we're an arm's length away, so when they try and make a decision, we've got a chance to intercept the ball. And then finally, looking at our social corner, okay, so working as a unit, as a team, okay, so when we're doing the 6v3 rondo, okay, making sure that three are working together to win the ball back, not just going as an individual, because we can't just press as an individual, because we'll be leaving space and gaps around the pitch, making sure we're working in cognition, okay, as a team to win the ball back. Supporting your teammates, okay, so let's say the three players who are off, okay, providing support for them, encouraging them, okay, and support as well in terms of telling them exactly where you're going to be, okay, so if a player goes and presses a player, essentially knowing that they've got that support left and right if they're trying to play through, okay, so then they're going to show someone to the right, making sure you're telling them. So communication is massive, just providing little bits of information so the players know that they don't have to check the shoulder every time because the player behind them is feeding them the information. So it's important for everyone to talk, whether they be actually defending or they're in a box behind, okay, and they can see what's going on in front. Now moving into part 3 of this week's session, we're now looking at counter-pressing as a team, okay? So what we're going to have a 5v5 scenario in the middle with one player from each team in an end zone, so that's where they're looking to play to. These players in the end zone can switch, okay? So what we're looking at here is we're going to go 30 yards of width and 30 yards of depth, all right? And then we're going to have an extra 5 yards of depth for the end zone, so in total it's 40 by 30, so there's a little bit of space in the middle for players to make attack and runs, okay? So then we're focusing on, don't think of what's behind us if we're pressing as a team, okay? Can we focus on not worrying about that, so we're making sure the players still focus on what we're trying to do, okay? So the ball's going to get played into the middle, okay? So the coach plays into the yellows. Instantly what we're looking for is the blues to hunt in packs, okay? We're looking for them to hunt in pack, okay, to stop the yellows playing through to their end player here, okay? So we're looking to prevent balls through, okay? So we're looking at those angles and distances, covering the ground quickly, okay? Being aggressive, showing that anticipation to win the ball back. So you've got your front three in here, okay, and you've got your two support midfielders. So they're making sure the space in behind is covered, but also they can support the press, okay? Because if anything goes in behind here, you can deal with it, okay? So you've got to do half and half, being able to press and being able to cover as well. So the yellows are just looking to find some space, trying to work the ball through to the player in the end zone, okay? If you score, okay, so if you play in, you get the ball again. So it could be that the yellows get the ball here, and we've got all the blues back here, and they play into the floater here. The coach then has another ball and they play instantly into another yellow. So then for us, it's we've just lost the ball, let's say in the midfield area, okay? Some of us are on the opposite side of the pitch. Can we get across, okay, and cover the ground quickly? Where's our angles and distances? So our positions may change. So that first 4 or 5, 6 seconds after we've lost the ball, it's nearest man, okay, is going to go and press first, okay? Where can the support come from? From behind, from the sides, okay? So not thinking, oh, I'm a central midfielder or I'm a right back in this area. It's where can I support my teammates? Where can we win the ball back? And then after 5, 6 seconds, if we haven't won the ball, can we get some shape, okay? And then can we look for our pressing triggers, okay? So if a player receives it with the back to goal, okay? If they have a bad first touch, if they're trying to play a long pass, or if it's a mistake, okay? So get into a shape, okay? Frustrate the opposition, and then press when we've got bodies behind the ball, bodies ready to press, okay? And we can support each other as a team and be aggressive to win the ball back. So again, if the Blues won it and played in to their floater here, okay, in the end zone, they will then receive the ball again, and then it's down for the Yellows, okay. So when they lose the ball, can they counter press quickly to get in here, be aggressive, win the ball, and then can they punish the opposition? So the floaters can swap as well. So every couple of minutes you can swap them over, or as well during the game, the players can just easily swap over at the right time. So we don't want them swapping after goals because obviously we don't want players being men down when they're attacking. So every few minutes, swap the floaters over, okay? And we want that intensity to be high throughout. We will now move into our next animation before moving on to the final part of this week's session. Okay, so moving into the final part of this week's session, we're now moving into a small-sided game focusing on counter-pressing. So we're going to have a 30 by 30 box, okay, with 4 goals put in here. Okay, so in terms of if you have goalkeepers for this part of the session, you could just have one team can attack into the goal and one team can attack into the poles and maybe swap over halfway through. In terms of part 3, again, if you have goalkeepers, you can just put a goalkeeper beyond one of the lines, okay, and one team can score. Once they play into the floater, maybe the floater can turn and have a shot. If you have 2 goalkeepers, you can do the same. But what we're looking at now is without goalkeepers. So we're looking for the team in possession to either dribble through the gate or to try and pass it through. Okay, so the defending team is trying to show them away from those areas, okay, to stop them scoring. So what we're going to have here is the Blues are going to attack these 2 goals here, and the Yellows are going to attack these 2 goals. So they're attacking one way and defending the other way. Okay, so it's when they've lost the ball is, okay, we're going the opposite way. Can we go and stop them winning the ball? Okay, so the coach will play in, let's say they play into the Blues. If they're playing in here to start with, okay, try and block that goal because they can instantly score in there. Okay, so we're looking to then get bodies around the ball. Okay, so we know their goal is there and their goal is there. So that's where we're going to stop them to play, because we know if we win the ball back and here is the Yellows, okay, we can instantly turn out and score. Okay, it's as simple as that. Or if that option's not on, okay, and we've got gaps in here, we can look to get bodies up the pitch into space and then look to play through and score in there. As soon as the ball goes through the gate, the same team will receive the ball who scored. So if the Blues score in this goal here, instantly the coach will play in to one of the Blues, maybe under pressure or maybe in space, okay, and they're instantly going to score again. So it's reacting as a team to then counter press, not letting our heads go down when we concede, reacting and going, okay, where can we win the ball now? Where's the ball going to? Okay, where can I be as a teammate to support, cover that ground quickly, okay, anticipating, okay, showing that urgency to win the ball back. And then when you win it back, securing the ball. So if the Yellows win it back, secure the ball, okay, and then we're going to look to attack as quick as we can. So the main focus in this session is when we lose the ball, what's our reaction as a team? Okay, are we just going to stand still and let the opposition get it, or are we going to prevent them scoring to start with and then win it back? Or if it's in a tight area in the middle, can we get bodies round it, okay, to win the ball back, okay, hunt in packs and then look to score a goal? Okay, so the main focus of counter pressing is obviously as soon as we've lost the ball, okay, before we're all getting into our organisation, as you know, the team in possession's got their in possession formation, and when we're out of possession, we get into our formation. Before that happens, can we win the ball back as soon as we've lost possession? okay? Can we go and press as a team and win it back? So we might lose the ball in midfield third, or the attacking third, or the defensive third. How do we react as a team, okay? Do we just drop back, or do we go and win the ball? We want the players to go and try and win the ball back. If we can't, then we drop in and we wait for our moments. But that first 4 to 6 seconds after we've lost the ball, okay, is vital, because there's a chance for us to win it before the opposition secure it, before they get into areas where they can punish us. So making sure that we're relaying over to players. Once you lose the ball, don't let the head go down, okay? Have the right attitude to go and win it back. How can you support your teammates? So building that mindset into the players of, we want to win this ball back, okay, as soon as we've lost it. So we're looking at teams like Liverpool, Manchester City, Pep Guardiola's Barcelona team, Borussia Dortmund, teams around Europe, okay, when they lose the ball, you see it a lot more often now as they hunt in packs, okay, because they know it's a great chance to win the ball back, and it's a transition phase for the team who's won the ball, okay, so then we've got a more chance of, their right back might be trying to get out wide, we win the ball in midfield, and there's a chance for us to play through to the winger because he's out of position now, okay, and then we can punish them in behind, okay, but we've got to think of that first 4 to 6 seconds. After that, get into our shape. We will now move into our final animation before concluding this week's session. Thanks for watching this week's video. For more content, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok. The links will be in the description below, and we'll see you next week for another Session Sunday.